Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the October 30th edition of the Hughes Sports Podcast, your home for the irrational fan of the Vancouver Canucks and BC Lions. I am your host, of course, Jake Hughes. Alongside me is nobody. Normally it is the old man. However, the old man is not doing well with COVID, unfortunately. So please do keep him in your thoughts. He's been dealing with long COVID for a very long time and needed today to kind of recover. So we're wishing him the best, but the show must go on. And with that being said, you beautiful human beings are stuck with me for the next half hour, 45 minutes, however long you guys want to hang out for. Because I am by myself, I'm going to try to make this a little bit more interactive. So if you did want to, you can throw some conversations into the chat. We are going to be talking Canucks. We're going to be talking semi-finals Saturday in the CFL. And anything you guys want to talk about. If you guys don't want to talk about anything, if you guys think just let this crazy guy talk for 45 minutes, half hour, then we'll do that. First thing I want to talk about before we go anywhere, I want to appreciate every single person who tunes in every single week, whether that's on Facebook, YouTube, or listening live or listening on podcast form on whichever podcast network is your favorite. We really do appreciate it. Big thing, if you can, please do hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, no matter where you're at. And tell a friend if you know an irrational fan of the BC Lions, of the Vancouver Canucks, of Vancouver sports in general. Tell them about this podcast because we want to grow. We want this to grow and be more of a community than just me and an old man yelling into the ether with everyone. So again, appreciate you tuning in on your busy Monday, the day before Halloween. But let's just jump into some stuff with the news here. The first thing we want to talk about is we did discuss it last week. And we've discussed it at length multiple times, but the NHL has reverses their ban on evenings and nights of inclusivity. So, and this is a direct quote from the statement the NHL put out. After consultation with the NHL Players Association and the NHL Players Inclusion Coalition, players will now have the option to voluntarily represent social causes with their stick tape throughout the season. So, literally going back on everything they stood for in this, due to, I feel, pressure from media like ourselves, from even bigger media platforms like CBC and Ron McLean talking about it on Hockey Night in Canada a few weeks back, but also Travis Dermott doing this stick tape and basically saying, "What are you going to do to me?" So it is a really, really good place to start, and that's the big thing. Is this is a starting point for the NHL. We've gotten here many times before, and we, as a community of hockey fans, of hockey viewers, have decided not to keep pushing this narrative that hockey is for everyone, no matter your race, religion, creed, sexual orientation, anything. And it's beyond frustrating to me as someone who just thinks, who cares who you are? If you're good at hockey, play hockey. But you need to have an environment where people feel safe enough to go to these hockey practices and go in to tryouts and into locker rooms and everything like that. So again, I think this is a good first step, but it's just a first step. So lots more getting into. Talking more about the ban reversal. Dermott said he displayed the rainbow tape as he's passionate about encouraging inclusion within the hockey community. You want to have everyone feel included, and that's something I felt passionate about for a long time in my career. I feel like we need supporters of a movement like this to have everyone feel included and really beat home the idea that hockey is for everyone. The NHL and the Phoenix and everywhere should be championing, putting this guy out there in the press, easy for me to say, and highlighting him that this is what the new age hockey player is. It's wild to me that it's out of the norm for players to stand up for this sort of stuff, but I guess I really shouldn't be, with Gary Bettman himself being as Gary Bettman is and not the most inclusive from understanding. I mean, you look at the coaches, you look at everything. Everything is just the standard status quo until it gets too far, a la Mike Babcock, a la uh, Daryl Sutter. So it's just it's time for the NHL to wake up and stop being the last people in these types of decisions, in these types of things moving forward. And hopefully this is the start of that. Hopefully with the NHL Players in Player Inclusion Coalition, the NHLPA, and players like Travis Dermott keep stepping up and making differences for this, because right now the NHL kind of is a laughing stock of pro sports, but that's the way it always is. I mean, in every single instance. But yeah, that's the only thing I want to touch on that. Again, please, if you are watching live, please do drop some comments into the comment section, because again, I'm just going to be rambling to you guys for the next 20 minutes or so about things that I like and things that I want to talk about. So if you guys want to steer the conversation in any direction, please do steer that direction, because I'd love to chat. But the next thing I want to talk about, seeing as we haven't had anyone chime in yet, is the Canucks have started off hot. And I can say quite confidently, this is not last year's Canucks team. This is not the team that we thought we would be getting out of Bruce Boudreau. This is a team that looks like they have structure. This is a team that looks like they have confidence, and a team that is oozing vibes. Just good vibes. It's the only way to describe it. We're 5-2-1. The game on Saturday night marred with a little bit of controversy in overtime, because there clearly should have been a tripping call right before the Rangers were setting up K'Andre Miller for a goal. But, the refs are going to screw you occasionally, and that's fine. The refs suck. It's the team's... And I think it all starts with Rick Tocchet, the approach to everything that they're doing, and that's what's making them so successful. I mean, after an 8-1 win to start this season, and then going into Edmonton and winning 4-3 against a team that everyone thought would be a contender and still could be a contender, it's wild to see that. And then in Philly the next day, Rick Tocchet being like, you don't deserve shit. You aren't shit until you prove it. And this is how we prove it. We go out there and we work our asses off. And when we work our asses off, things happen. And old man tuning in, I appreciate it. I'm not planning the parade. It's a hot start. It is a 5-2-1 hot start. But there are issues on this team. I mean, our power play is not looking good at all, and there are issues abound. But the issues we're talking about is our power play isn't scoring enough. That should fix. We have enough talent. That should be something that's fixable. What is a really good sign, in my opinion, is we're getting scoring from all over the line except for that fourth line. Now, it'd be really great to get some scoring from that fourth line. But if that's what we're most concerned about, in comparison to last year when we started the season 1-5-2, I think it was literally 1-5-2 last year to start the year. It took us 8 games to get a win. We're now 8 games in and we've gotten 5 wins. It's wild that the issues we have in Tyler Myers playing third line minutes and is still not being good enough. Dakota Joshua, Anthony Beauvillier, and I'm drawing a blank on the third line mate there that I've been playing quite a bit with, have no points. Oh, Pia Suter. That's who it is. Pia Suter. And have little to no points. I mean, Dakota Joshua got 1 in the 8-1 win, but everyone was getting points that night, or goals that night in points. Beauvillier has 1 assist. Pia Suter still has 0s. So there is concern there. Don't get me wrong. To win a Stanley Cup and to go deep in the playoffs, you need 4 lines that are scoring, that are working. But if that's what we're talking about, if we're talking about fourth line minutes and an overpaid third liner chaos draft being chaos draft. Is that really a bad thing? Like, I know we are constantly going to be talking about things where Vancouver is a diehard, and I mean diehard hockey town. The conversations you have with most Canucks fans, and this might sound, and I don't care. The conversations that you have with most Canucks fans aren't your standard ouch. Aren't your standard, oh, well, top line's not scoring points, eh? Oh, yeah, no. It's talking about the fact that, EP40 it has 13 goals and is on pace for 133 points. No way that's sustainable, but why isn't he scoring on the power play? Or his minutes last in Saturday were the highest that they've ever been by about 2 minutes. That's not sustainable. But Rick Tocchet is very good at managing his lineup. We're gonna see how good he is at managing that. It's a lot of in-depth conversations, and it drives the old man nuts. So I'm taking the time to talk about it here. But like looking at it right now, it's only 8 games in. Again, folks, we're only 8 games in, and it's way too early to be talking about things that too early to talk about things that are so fluid, and especially in hockey, where we've seen the hockey gods decide that we're not gonna get the bounces, we're not gonna get anything for weeks on end. Right now, based off of what we're on at a full pace or a full season pace, we have 4 players that are going to be over a point per game pace. That's really good. We have 2 players at over 100 points. Clearly, it would be great if that happened with Elias Pettersson and JT Miller. But Brock Besser at 92 points, Quinn Hughes at 82. If Quinn Hughes gets 82 points and stays where he is plus minus wise, where he's just lights out defensively, controls the game, if he's not a finalist and the winner of the Norris, it is just proof that the awards do not care about stats. They don't care about scoring. They only care about Erik Karlsson, who's now in the East, and Eastern teams. It's as simple as that, because Quinn Hughes is the most dynamic defenseman in the game period. And I will say that, and I might be looking at it with Canuck goggles on, but Quinn Hughes is the most dynamic defenseman in the league. No ifs, ands, or buts. Cale Makar is great at offense. Adam Fox is great on the power play and at defense, but no one runs the team quite like Quinn Hughes does. And that's why I think they gave him that the captaincy. He is the captain, and I have seen a huge increase in Quinn Hughes' confidence since getting that captaincy. The way he's spoken about things, the way he's talked about things, it's almost like he took that captaincy with a great deal of pride and honor. And it's great. It's great to see. I love that we have a defenseman who is probably, again, like I say, the best defenseman, the most dynamic defenseman in the NHL, and is so underrated by the rest of the league that Dom Lucian, who we've talked about this before, Dom Lucian puts together a model, and he put Quinn Hughes as a tier 3 defenseman. Tier 3, which, you know what? It's by the numbers. He has a system. It's numbers. It's not his own opinion being put into there. It's his numbers that he then adjusts based off of expectations of the teams. Quinn Hughes is now exceeding every single person. He is a tier 1, best of the best. End of story. It's nice to see. It's nice to see not just that, but him playing with Filip Hronek, a defenseman who's on his level of play. Seeing the team and breakouts, having set design plays, having an idea of what to do with the puck and not just throwing it down unless you're, I think it was Höglander at the last 4 seconds of the period there, the last game. But it almost is like Bringing in Tocchet last season, the way it went down, I will never agree with. It was terribly handled, but allowing Tocchet to get in, see the pieces he had, and then build the systems and get people to work on what they did was the right decision. So I think, and I reached out to the old man because he's not dead. He's still alive. He's breathing. He's in the chat, chatting with you beautiful human beings. But I reached out to the old man and said, what are your predictions for the next 3 games? The next 3 games we have are against the Predators, Sharks, and Stars. Predators tomorrow night, where we're rocking the beautiful skate and puck jersey for Halloween. I think it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be great. So I love that jersey. They should bring it back full time, but that is a rant for another time because I don't want to keep you here listening to my dulcet tones and I'm going to ruin my voice by talking all day. And I have a very big weekend, but we'll talk about that a little later. Preds, Sharks, and Stars. Predators, we beat. Made them look kind of silly in their own home. I'm expecting them to come out with a little bit of oomph. Now they did go to overtime. I don't remember if they won or lost against Toronto. So I'm expecting a close game. I'm hoping for the win. That to me, that is a winnable game, but I wouldn't be upset if we lost. Sharks, San Jose still haven't won a game. If we lose that game, it's a sleeper game. It's one of those games where it's like, we don't need to play. And we know the Canucks. We've seen that story before. And the Stars. Now, the Stars are a team that I honestly haven't done a lot of paying attention to because they are in the Western Conference, but they are not a team that I pay attention to all that closely. They're winning right now 3-2 with the Blue Jackets, and they are 4-1-1. So they're not going to be an easy team to beat. Again, I think this is going to be very similar to the New York Rangers game. This is going to be a game where we can see how good we actually are with a team that's clicking, a team that's working. You've got a lot of different things going on with that team. So if we can get 3 or 4 points out of the next 6, that is a huge success. The old man is calling it. He texted me earlier today and he said 3-0 in the next week. So next week we will check in with the old man and see how the Canucks are doing. I'm looking for a win against the Sharks, a hopeful win against the Preds, and a tough matchup against the Stars. But if the Canucks play the way they can and everything's clicking and they're gritty and they're hard to play against and their elite talent comes through and Demko and Swayman just keep why do I keep saying Swayman? DeSmith. Why do I keep saying Swayman? Can anyone understand why I keep saying Swayman? DeSmith. If DeSmith and Demko keep playing the way that they are, it's great. That we're going to be undefeated. That's not true. But it's going to take players or teams a lot of effort to beat us. And that's what's most important. So before we change subjects, moving on to the CFL, anyone in chat have anything to add? Again, old man chiming in on Facebook and on YouTube. No, we are not planning the parade yet. I said this before. It is early. It is very early in the season. But give me another month of this, and let me tell you, I'm planning playoffs. And to me, that is the biggest hope that we can come out of this season is not only do we get playoffs, we get fun playoffs. We get active fans. We get fans in the arena. So it'll be interesting. It'll be fun. Before I move on to talk about the CFL and the semi-finals Saturday, do check out HughesSports.ca. We've been not great at keeping up with things. It's been very busy with me. Old man's been super busy, so we're going to try. I'm going to try. I can't commit to anything because I know my schedule is super busy right now with the upcoming weekend. I'm going to try to be posting something more regularly. What that is, I don't know. It's my personal life, my work life, everything is just super busy. So it's making it very hard for me to be able to take time and write things out. And I want to do that the best to my abilities. So I'm hoping we will have something out this week from me and maybe something from the old man. He'll have a little bit of pent up old man rants in him because we're not hearing them tonight, which just means I have to hear them via text message, which is always a blast. And now let's jump into the CFL, the semi-final Saturday. This last weekend, we did have games. They meant nothing. I honestly didn't pay attention to any of them. I was super busy with football, doing officiating, but it doesn't matter. Nothing of consequence was to happen. There was nothing of consequence. It doesn't matter. Semi-final Saturday is finally among us. And let's jump into the first game that will happen on Saturday. Again, keep reminding you, it's Saturday we have these games. I said that very confidently, and now I'm second guessing myself because I remember this being a big thing last year. Saturday for both of the semifinals and finals, and then the Grey Cup will be the Sunday. So at noon Pacific time, we have the Tiger Cats going in to face Montreal Alouettes. Now, I did a little bit of research before this because I didn't have to chat with the old man before. The Alouettes won the season series 3-0. I think it's silly to bet against Cody Fajardo at this point against the Tiger Cats. But I do think it would be best for the league if the Tiger Cats make it in to face the Argonauts. Now, don't get me wrong, or to face the Argonauts. Don't get me wrong. I think no matter what, the Argonauts are going to be doing well and have a healthy crowd for Toronto. Or not going to be a great crowd, but it's going to be a healthy crowd for Toronto. If it's the Hamilton Tiger Cats, I think that crowd gets a little bit beefier. Again, I reached out to the old man. I'm opening up his message here because I don't remember what he said. He said Hamilton is going to be taking this game, and I just can't bet against Cody Fajardo, as the friend of the show, Rod Peterson, always says. Death, taxes, and Cody Fajardo. Those are the three certainties in life. And I'm going to take his word on it. He's watched more football than I have, and I'm going to take Cody Fajardo to beat the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And move on to face the Toronto Argonauts on Remembrance Day, Saturday, November 11th. Then the later game, the game that's in BC at 3:30, nice earlier game for a Saturday night. We have the Calgary Stampeders coming in to face our BC Lions. Now, looking back through here, the Lions won the season series 2-1, but that last game really didn't count. That's where I think it was partway through the second, maybe at halftime, that Vernon Adams Jr. was pulled from the game because why risk injury when everything's already set in stone. I'm very excited to see how this is going to work. I did see earlier today, posted by Farhan Lalji, that they are planning on opening the upper bowl for the BC Lions games, so it should be a very full crowd. There's also all sorts of stuff going on this weekend. So we're hoping to have a very, 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 very busy Saturday that is going to be filled with football and joy. And of course, me and the old man both take your BC Lions to win. And I think if everyone's on the right track, I believe the BC Lions are going to, or not on the track, but on point. Everyone's bringing their air game, as you should, because it's a winner go home game. The Lions should win by a score of more than 7 points. If the spread is 6.5, I'm taking the over in that game. That mean we have the BC Lions Winnipeg Blue Bombers division final on the 11th. And let me tell you, that game is going to be so much fun. Because the Blue Bombers think that they've already won the Grey Cup. If you see, not the team, but their fan base has just been going on and on about how they're a dynasty. They've already won. Why even play the games? So I would love for the Lions to go in there and just take care of business. BC Lions coming in off of a bye against the Stampeders this week, go in and just decimate the Blue Bombers. I can't see it happening, but anything is possible. It's always going to be a fun game when those two teams get together. That is the show. We have some people chatting in here. Me too, says Nancy Jackson. Thank you, Mamacita. But that is the show for this week. We have a very exciting weekend coming up. Like I said, we have the old man is putting on his tournament that we talked about last week. If you're in the Calgary area, please do check it out and you play poker. Or even if you don't play poker and just have time on Saturday at Ace Airport Casino. It will be there ready for you to go, supporting the charity that I can't think of the name of right now. But my Saturday, I'm not going to be at the poker tables. I wish I was going to be at the poker tables, but I'm going to be sitting here in this chair for 25 straight hours. Now, you might say, Jake, why are you doing that? I'm doing it for a great cause called Extra Life. Extra Life is a charity that raises money once a year. We do a big stream, 25 hours, 24, but it ends up being 25 because from 8 a.m. Saturday, November 4th to 8 a.m. Saturday or Sunday, November 5th, I'm going to be live. However, there's a time change in there. So I believe it goes from 2:59 p.m. a.m. to 2 o'clock a.m. And it's always the worst at that time of night. But I'm raising money for the Children's Miracle Network, which supports in my area the Alberta Children's Hospital. The money raised all stays in and does all sorts of great good in the community, helping kids who do need it. And the least I can do is spend 25 hours doing this. Now, I've posted the link in the chat. I will also keep tweeting it out throughout this week. But if you do want to donate, you can find me, Jake Hughes, on the website. I'll also post a link in the description of this if you're listening on podcast that you can just click to. I'm going to be live during the whole day. During the Stampeders Lions game, I'm actually going to take a stop from what I normally do, which is play video games, hang out with friends. I'm going to hang out with you, beautiful human beings. I'm going to go live. Well, I'm going to be live, but I'm going to watch the Stampeders and Lions game and react with you guys. The old man, I'm going to try to get him. Hopefully he's still playing poker, but if he's not, we'll get him on, or if he is, or if he's not, we'll get him in on a Zoom call. We'll chat Lions. We'll discuss things as it's happening. And I want to hear from you guys. So please do tune in. You can check me out at J Streams here on Twitch. I'll also be live on YouTube at the J-Streams, the letter J-EH Streams channel. Also be on Kick and on Facebook. So please do check it out. I will be more than happy just for you guys to come hang out. If you can donate, it always is appreciated, but it's definitely not necessary. The support from you guys coming in and chat and just check it in, seeing how I'm doing means more than almost as much as the money raised. The money means more because it's going to something better and bigger than me, but the support is needed to get me through because 25 hours is a long ass time. But for October 30th, this has been your Irrational fan take on the Vancouver Canucks and BC Lions. I will see you, beautiful humans, on Saturday. Have yourselves a good night, and goodbye.